myself Shweta Shah. I'm your instructor for the subject Computer Organization and Architecture. In this subject we have started Unit 5, that is Central Processing Unit, and in this unit we are going to see today the topic that is addressing modes. So let me start with the topic addressing mode. The addressing mode specifies a rule for interpreting or modifying the address field of the instruction before the operands are actually referred. The computer uses addressing mode technique for the purpose of accommodating one or both of these following provisions. First one is to give the programming versatility to the user by providing such a facility as a pointer to the memory counter for your group, or indexing of data, or program relocation. Second purpose is to reduce the number of bits in the addressing field of the instruction. Some addressing modes provide the both of this requirement, or some provides one of this requirement. So the availability of a addressing mode gives experienced assembly language programmer a flexibility for writing programs that more efficient with respect to the number of instructions and execution timing requirement. Okay, so this is the structure for your instruction, that is having opcode, or you can say operation code. Then the mode part, that will decide which addressing mode you have used, and third one is a address part, that is for your operands address. Okay, so let me see. There is a total 10 addressing modes are available, like implied addressing mode, immediate addressing mode, register addressing mode, register indirect addressing mode, auto increment or auto decrement addressing mode, direct addressing mode, indirect addressing mode, relative addressing mode, indexed addressing mode, based register addressing mode, and so on. Okay, so these are the 10 addressing modes that are available to work on with assembly language. We will see one by one of them. First, let me see implied addressing mode. In the implied addressing mode, the operands are specified implicitly in the definition of the instruction. For example, the instruction complement the accumulator is the implied mode instruction because the operand is in the accumulator register, and that is implied in the definition of the instruction. That's why it is known as an implied addressing mode. In fact, all register reference instruction that uses the accumulator are the implied mode instruction. It is also zero address instructions in a stack organized computer are also implied instructions, since their operands are implied to be the top of the stack. Okay, so that is also a implied addressing mode instruction. For example, we can use the complement accumulator. For that, opcode is a CMA, or clear accumulator. For that, its opcode is CLE, and so on. So by this way we can use the implied addressing mode, and in this implied addressing mode your operands are by default specified in the instruction. Okay, second we will see the immediate addressing mode. In this mode the operand is specified in the instruction itself. So an immediate mode instruction has an operand field rather than the address field. The operand field contains the actual operand that is to be used for conjunction with the operand specified in the instruction. So for immediate addressing mode instruction, these are useful for initializing the register to a constant value, and we can represent it like LD hashtag file. That instruction will use file as an immediate data. Whenever you are using hashtag, that means you have used some immediate data, and this instruction is for loading some content into accumulator, and that content, as you have used hash before that content, that means you have used the immediate data. So by this way we can represent this immediate data. Next addressing mode is a register addressing mode. In this addressing mode, it was mentioned previously that the address field of instruction may specify either the memory word or the process register's address. Okay, so when the address field specifies the processor register, the instruction is said to be having a register addressing mode. In this mode, the operands are in the register that are resides within the CPU. Okay, so due to this addressing mode, accessing the memory, and due to that accessing memory, that is the most time consuming process, you can reduce the time by using this addressing mode. Okay, so the particular register is selected from the register field in the instruction. If a k-bit field you have used for in your instruction to specifying the address of register, then you can use total 2 raised to k registers for your CPU. Okay. For example, LDR1. This instruction will load the content of register R1 to the accumulator. Okay, so here our operand is stored in some register and we have represented it by R1. So this R1's content is going to be stored into accumulator. So by this way we can use this register addressing mode. Next we will see is register indirect addressing mode. In this mode, the instruction specifies a register in the CPU whose content gives the address of the operand in the memory. Here in register addressing mode, you are directly getting the operand from your register. While in register indirect addressing mode, you are getting the address from the content of register, and from that address you have to find out the actual operand. Okay. In other words, we can say that the selected register contains the address of the operand rather than the operand itself. Before using the register indirect mode instruction, the programmer must have to ensure that the memory address of the operand is placed inside the processor register with the previous instruction, as you can use hashtag instruction. Okay, so by default, by using this immediate addressing mode, you have to first store the address into that register, and then you can use that register as an indirect addressing. The advantage of this register indirect mode instruction is that the address field of the instruction uses the fewer bits to select the register rather than it would have required if you have used some memory address, because our memory address will be of 12 bit. For our system, if we consider the example, we can use this instruction like LD in bracket R1. Here we are using small brackets to represent that you have used some register indirect addressing mode. In this instruction, the content of register R1 is used as an address, and from that address operand is fetched and stored into accumulator. So by this way we can use this register indirect addressing mode. Next we will see auto increment or auto decrement mode. In this mode, this is the similar to the register indirect addressing mode, except that the register is incremented or decremented after or before its value is used to access the memory. Okay, so for example, we can represent it like LD R1 plus LD R1 minus. This is also indirect addressing mode, but after fetching the data or before fetching the data, your register's content is going to be automatically incremented or decremented. How they are used, let me see further. In auto increment, operand is first stored at required location, then incremented the content of register which contains the address. While in auto decrement, first decrement the content of the register and the operand is then stored at the required location. This is the difference between two, that auto increment and auto decrement, how it will work. So next we will see the direct addressing mode. In this mode, the effective address is equal to the address part of the instruction. The operand resides in the memory and its address is given directly by the address field of the instruction. In branch type instruction, the address field specifies the actual branch address. If you have used branch instruction, then it is kind of this. For example, if we say BUN 500 or LD ADR, here ADR and 500 both are the address, but here 500 we have directly given, and ADR is some label for some memory location. For ADR you have maybe used 400 location, or maybe you have used 450 location for label ADR, and according to that label, wherever you have used that label, from that label your content is going to be stored into accumulator in this LDADR instruction. While in BUN 500 you have directly given the address 500. In ADR also you have directly given the address, but this is the label of that address that you have somewhere given the ADR location. Okay, so by this way you can use the direct addressing mode. Next one is the indirect addressing mode. In this mode, the address field of the instruction gives the address where the effective address is stored in the memory. The control fetches the instruction from the memory and uses its address part to the access memory again to read the effective address. As we have discussed this thing in earlier section also, where we have used one bit to represent your addressing mode, whether it is a direct addressing mode or indirect addressing mode. You can also use like this way. For example, if we have written instruction like LD@ADR, here @ sign indicates that next field is your address and that is your indirect address. Okay, so by this way you can access your data by using this indirect addressing mode. In this instruction LD@ADR, first ADR's location's content is fetched, then that content is used as a some address, and another time memory is accessed for that ADR's content location, and then that location's content is going to be stored into accumulator. So by this way we can use this indirect addressing mode. So we are ending our today's session over here. The remaining addressing modes we are going to see in the next session, and we will also see some example for all of these addressing modes. Okay.